Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. Today we're here with the Wood Elves, going to be taking on Norsca. I'm actually fighting TURIN this time around. This is round 2 of Shadow's YouTuber tournament. I got matched up against TURIN in round 2, so it should be a wild battle. My Wood Elf army is led by a Glady here. We've got a couple of Way Watchers, some Wild Riders hidden in the woods, and then the line over here with Eternal Guard, Dryads mixed with some Glade Guard, as well as a Branch Wraith for a caster. For TURIN's Norsca here, he's got some Armored Skin Wolves, a Balefiend Lore of Shadows, Wulfric on horseback, plenty of Marauders, and some Javelins as well. Got some Ice Wolves also. So yeah, right off the bat, we're going to be doing some skirmishing initially here. I throw this Prey of Anathrema on these Maws of Savagery, and we're going to open up with those Way Watchers. Wasn't too worried about these Ice Wolves because I do have these, Wild Riders here to kind of protect. So we should be able to get some good skirmishing in, in this situation. So far, though, still haven't dropped any unit models on those Maws of Savagery, which is pretty unfortunate. Obviously, they do have that nice regeneration, so if you can't finish off their unit models quickly, they will be able to just regenerate that damage back. And Wulfric's going to unleash a boat here. That does actually impart Frostbite, so it will slow these Way Watchers significantly, although it didn't do all that much damage. He's now going to commit here with these Skin Wolves and so on, so I'm going to go ahead and countercharge with the Wild Riders, maybe. I was going to countercharge, then half a second later decided not to, but now we're getting frostbitten by the Ice Wolves here. We're going to get like a huge pitched engagement. We've also got Melkos Mystifying Miasma, so those Wild Riders are definitely going to be stuck up in there. The infantry are going to come down the hill to try and support, though. We've got some Eternal Guard coming in here, and the Way Watchers are able to extricate themselves here with the Wild Riders, providing a nice little buffer. Even though they are taking quite a bit of damage here, being able to get these Way Watchers free is going to be very key. You can see I'm opening up with my archers. And this is going to be a pretty key engagement as well. We're getting some Dryads and some Eternal Guard up and around the flank here. Dryads will actually trade very well against the Marauders. Even when the Marauders start to get that physical resistance from the Enrage, won't be super impactful. A nice little Penumbral Pendulum there cutting through some of the infantry and wolves and so on. And yeah, you can see those Wild Riders just took a ton of damage. Not the best situation, but the Eternal Guards are there. The Way Watchers, the Hagbane Tips, and the Starfire Shafts all just pouring in fire into this pocket right here. And the Skin Wolves have taken a lot of damage as a result. Meanwhile, as I said, the Dryads and Eternal Guards, because I had a pretty wide infantry line, I was able to bring a couple units up and around here, and we're going to match up very well against these Marauder Spearmen. Unfortunately, the Way Watchers still kind of getting compromised here by this heavy wolf pocket. Wulfric himself as well coming in here, but thankfully I'm able to get some Overwatch fire from the Hagbane Tips and the Starfire Shafts. You guys will quite often see me use one of each in tandem together so that you get the benefit of the poison and the armor-piercing fire damage. Of course, with the Starfire Shafts, fire damage very applicable to the Maws of Savagery and the other Skin Wolves here. But yeah, another really nice boat. Cuts through some of those Glade Guard there. Does some decent damage. But the Skin Wolves are just having a hard time getting through, just continuously mucking them up. We've got the Branch Wraith now here as well. The Wild Riders, although they took a lot of damage, again, we're just trying to keep all these units held back while we take advantage of this missile fire. You can see out in the periphery as well, we've managed to clean up quite a few Marauders. These Dryads are doing a great job kind of collapsing it on this backline, and even now we're starting to get back and get on the Javelins as well. So infantry fight's definitely going in my favor, and if we can just protect these ranged units for some time, should be okay. Branch Buddy's getting beat up by Wulfric pretty bad here, which is not the best, but we've got all these archers on the high ground that are going to focus Wulfric, just give him a nice little light show there. The Glady drops down for a quick charge. It has a really nice charge bonus on that Eagle of 70, so she can do a quick hit and run charge there, but obviously not wanting to stay overly long. These Armor Skin Wolves and other units are going to come collapse here and try and keep the Glady pinned in, so we're just going to run back through our own lines here. Some Spearmen had compromise the back line. We don't want that, so we're going to use the Wild Riders just to clean them up very quickly. And again, just keep this archer line secure as we try and finish off Wulfric here. We've got the Glade Guard, unfortunately getting tangled up a little bit by Skin Wolves at this point, but we do have some Eternal Guard here. That does leave the Way Watchers free, though. They have extricated themselves and are firing in here, and you can see Wulfric is starting to take a lot of damage here. If we can finish off Wulfric, we can maybe put a final dent in the balance of power, but things at this point are still really close. Got some Dryads chasing pretty deep here, as well as over here, just, shutting down the Marauder infantry, very nice. And Wulfric finally gets finished off by that bow fire. So with that, we're going to take a pretty pretty commanding lead on the balance of power. These Skin Wolves are trying to get into the back line, but just this missile pocket I've been able to keep secure almost this entire time. You know, we've just been having a couple the Branch Wraith, a couple Dryads, some Eternal Guards just kind of hanging around here the whole time. But yeah, Prey of Anathrema and those Maws of Savagery are going to get finished off there. There are still some Marauder Champions pushing through the center here who have racked up quite a few kills and, you know, been able to tank through that front line pretty effectively, but unfortunately just the backline harass tools just really weren't able to get a hold of the Way Watchers and Glade Guard in time. We take a look over on the periphery here. Wulfric just got finished off by the Glady, and you can see the Dryads chasing down these Marauder Javelins here. I actually really like Dryads in this matchup. Although Norsca does have access to fire damage, and, you know, they can definitely take down Dryads with certain things, Dryads just match up so well against most Marauder infantry. Obviously, Berserkers will beat them, but even still, it's a reasonably decent trade. And, you know, against Marauder Spearmen, the basic Marauders, the Javelins, all of those things, Dryads are going to be very good at. So, initially when when I was picking my army, I had a little bit of a different army with more of a mobile selection, but I decided to cut down and go a little bit wider with the Dryads, and it ended up working out quite well here. So, very well played to TURIN. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. Not too often we actually get to play one another, so it's definitely a fun opportunity there. And yeah, he did a good job trying to pressure my Way Watchers, but and the Glade Guard as well on the back line, but I was very much conscious of that and trying to keep resources in place to be able to screen them out, you know, get them in a protected position. Likewise, the Dryads helping to clean up that infantry fight was huge. You can see 58, 66, 76 kills, just doing a great job against the regular Marauders, the Marauder Spearmen as well. Only really the Champions, and I guess Berserkers would beat them too. But yeah, we were able to clean up quite a few of the light units out on that flank and just kind of collapse a lot of the support. And then, of course, the Skin Wolves getting shot up by the Way Watchers and the Glade Guard there. Again, I really like using the Hagbane tips and the Starfire Shafts sort of in tandem, so you get the benefit of both. And Way Watchers, obviously, are Way Watchers, not really too much to go into there. As for Norsca, Skin Wolves are pretty decent in this matchup. They're a nice way of pressuring in the back line. Yeah, you know, it's an interesting one. This is one matchup that definitely can go a lot of different ways, but I do think Norsca, your Lord selection is a little bit tough in terms of what you bring here, because like even Wulfric on horseback is relatively resistant to missiles. So if we go ahead and have a look here. So this is what I struggle with, at least in this matchup, is the Lord selection. Like, Wulfric on horseback has a decent missile block chance, a pretty good HP pool, but still is relatively easily sniped by something like, you know, 3 Way Watchers, 4 Way Watchers, or even like what I had there with the Hagbane tips and Starfire Shafts. Throg, you know, obviously has regeneration, but he also has pretty low armor, and I mean, he has pretty good HP as well, but no missile block chance whatsoever, and he's a much bigger target, so he's just easier to hit in the first place. Obviously, you don't want to bring a Mammoth here because that is an even bigger target, and the Chieftain is just pointless. So that's kind of what the problem I run into in this matchup is what Lord selection to take. Wulfric on horseback is probably the best option, although, interestingly enough, Wulfric on the Chariot does have a missile block chance, and I think this might be one of the only Chariots in a game with a missile block chance. You guys will have to correct me on that if I'm wrong, but maybe the Chariot would actually be the best option because you can definitely run over a lot of Wood Elf light infantry, you know, unless you run into something like Wild Riders or, you know, any other high mass units, you'll be able to run over, you know, Wood Elf infantry aren't going to be able to stop you up at all. They're all very light, so I think maybe the Chariot might be the way to go here. I don't know. It's an interesting one for sure. I would probably go pretty heavy on the Champions with shields here, just because they're going to be pretty effective at trading with Eternal Guard. I might also grab the Icehorn Marauders, immune to Psychology and Perfect Vigor with really nice combat stats. They'll trade very well with most Wood Elf infantry. For casters, Lore of Fire is probably the way you want to go here. I don't know that I would go with a Balefiend though, or if I would go with a Shaman Sorcerer. It's a little bit of a tough pick. Balefiend does have a lot of HP, and he does have missile resistance as well. If you actually take all of his abilities, he has a pretty good amount, 15% baseline plus 22% with this from the miss if his leadership is above 50%. So, I mean, that's a pretty good amount of missile resistance baseline. So maybe you do take the Thamir Balefiend Lord of Fire. You're going to probably want Flaming Sword of Ruin, Burning Head, and maybe Cascading Fire Cloak. You might want to take Fireball instead of Flaming Sword of Ruin. It's kind of tough to say, but Flaming Sword of Ruin, I mean, just in case they bring something like Durthu. Probably not a super common pick, though. Yeah. And then from here, I might do some different things. Probably take some Marauder Horsemen with Throwing Axes, just because they have a missile block chance. And then if we go with 3 of those, maybe take double Manticore or something. I don't know. I'd kind of have to theory craft around a little bit in this matchup and see what would work and what would not work. But it's definitely an interesting one. Let me know down in the comments below what's been your experience in that Wood Elves versus Norsca matchup. Big thanks once again to TURIN for playing and to Shadow Online Gaming for hosting the tournament. If you guys like this video and you want more of this type of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification so when I upload new videos, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.